Hi, it's John Britt. Welcome to John Britt's Monkey See, Monkey Do School of Pottery. So today we're going to show how to make this little teapot. I got this from Hall China Factory. It's a cute little teapot and it's got a couple little things to hold the lid when it turns. So it's a slip cast, but I'm going to show how to throw it. So here's a sample of one that I've kind of copied, and then these are some parts that we're going to assemble together. So now let's go over to the wheel. And we're going to throw the body. I won't be able to show you everything because it's kind of quick, but this body is kind of a little important, kind of tricky to make the well for the lid. So I'll center, do a pull. I'm going to fix this bottom. And then I'm going to keep this top kind of little bit of meat there so I can do my lid. So I'm going to stop right there so I can keep that kind of heavy right there. Form this body. Collar this in. Then I can come in here and clean this up, make it really how I want, spend a little more time than I would in this video. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take this is just a little wooden tool that's got a square end, and I'm just going to hold it down on here, put a little water on, going to press it down and go nice and deep like that. And that's our well that we want. So then what we're going to do, we're going to have to make a lid to fit in there. So I will use the calipers to do that. Set this aside. I would center a piece of clay like this to make my lid. I will, open a little, give me a little bit of a well. And then I'll probably take this same tool and just lay it on here like this. And right there I've essentially got my lid. I'd measure it with my calipers, make sure it's pretty close. If it isn't right, I might come in and cut this off a little. And then what I'll do is take that same tool and just slice underneath here, and that gives me my blank. Then I'm going to cut this off and set this aside on that little pad, and I'll show you what I do with that later. The other things we have to make before we're done here is a spout, which we're just gonna, you just make a little spout. Usually what I try to do is push this out some here at the bottom and then make sure this comes in nice. Oops, I think I messed that one up. And then you just have to, figure out how wide you want this spout to be. And then a lot of times I'll come in at the end and just clean the edge of this spout up to sharpen it a little, so that when the water comes off there, it'll come out well and cut the stream. I make a little mark, then I cut deeper to get a little pad again like that. Set that aside. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is come over here and show you what I've got here. See this? See these lids? These are what I had made. Then I just pinch them up and let them sit there. Then what I need to do is I'll cut this with a fettling knife. I'll just cut this off. Then I've thrown this little chuck that I will then put back onto the wheel. And I'll take my lid here that I've cut off, and I'll just set it on there. And then I'll just sort of center it a little bit. It's kind of centered, but just make it so it doesn't wobble. and then I'll trim that up as I need. I can even trim the sides of it, because what I want with this is that I want it to fit in here and be like in this one. I want it to be pretty loose in there, so it can have these two little cleats on there to catch it. Also, another interesting thing they did, they glazed everything, so that meant it stays pretty loose, because you have to allow for the glaze. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, I pull a few handles here, and I got some knobs, and then what I'll do is I'll take my teapot here. I'll take say this is my spout. Usually what I'll do is I'll just cut, I know I'm going to probably have to cut this off right like this. And then I'll sort of start fitting that on and seeing how that looks. You know, if I want it up here, if I want it down here, just sort of figure it out. Then what I'll do is I usually pinch it out a little and score it. And then I'll take some water, so I'll score that a little, pinch it out, then I'll lay it on there. And once I lay it on there, I'll make a mark, and then I'll cut out my hole like that, score that, and then I'll put this on like that. And then I'll just go, you know, fuss it around a little bit, make it good. Okay, then what I'm going to do is take my handle. My handle's going to want to sort of sit here. So I will probably then cut some of this off. And then sort of see where it wants to be. And when I think I have it right, you know, then I would just score it and connect it on there. Okay, so I'm gonna, you know, square it up, make sure it's in line with the spout, and then I'm gonna eyeball that, put that on like that, and then hook this on. Figure out how it wants to be. And then the last thing one of the last things I want to do is get a little lid, a knob, and decide where that's, you know, that looks like it's pretty good actually. And so I'll just place that, I'll score that, place that on there. And the last thing I'm going to do is make a couple little cleats, like, and connect them sort of right there, so that it's when the lid, it'll be like this. And I'll connect them so that when the lid tips, it doesn't fall out. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in this lid. Usually I just use my fettling knife or a drill, and then that way the steam can get out that way. Okay, so that's all we got today, and make about 20 of those, and we'll see you tomorrow. Okay, bye-bye.